Hey Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6. Hope you guys have been having a good time. I have been enjoying myself playing this game so far. We do have to get a couple more of these paradises online, and we get to delete another one of these pins. Right, let's go ahead and pick up some more artifacts. I will take a Hojo artifact, that is a medieval artifact as well, and then we'll go ahead and move the rest of these guys out to also pick up a few more. This is a little bit annoying. There is a Japanese great general standing in my way, which is making my life harder because I would like to get over here to kill some of these guys right here. But there's not much I can do about it while that guy is standing in my way. So let's go ahead and get some of these guys moved up a bit and start hammering this city. Oh, that is not what I meant to click. I was trying to take a shot here. There we go. The city has taken some damage. Can we get another couple of shots on it, actually? All right, city is now down, and I can grab it for myself. Let's go ahead and keep the city. It'll rebel in 3 turns. Let's go ahead and assign Magnus to this city now. So that'll slow the rebellion down to 6 turns. Let's go into our government and make some changes. As much as I'd like to keep Machiavellianism around, unfortunately, I'm just going to have to go ahead and take up Praetorium because I need that loyalty. As much as I want the military research for the science, I also need to plug in Limitaniae. Limitaniae? I have no idea how to pronounce this. Right, that'll be +4 loyalty. Could I pick up some more loyalty? You know, if I plugged in civil prestige, that would help out quite a bit. It's a question of what the hell do I get rid of? Because I kind of want all of these things. Although I'm not too far away from getting democracy, so I could probably live without 1 or 2 of these for a while. I'm not generating that much tourism, so I'm kind of okay with losing heritage tourism for now in exchange for this +1 amenity and +2 housing. Although, is the amenity really going to help compared to this? Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna live with this the way it is, and then hopefully conquer the next city fast enough to get a bit of extra loyalty in here. It's only -5, so I should have, in theory, 10 turns of loyalty in here. If I could get a little bit of happiness, if I could prevent the starvation, actually. That might be good. Okay, preventing the starvation was perfect because now it's only losing 1 loyalty point per turn. So that's going to give me plenty of time to work my way down to Corinth and stuff. More archaeological dig sites. Thank you very much. I'll take another Barbarian Artifact. I'm trying to get a mixture of different ones. Medieval walls in Gordian are a good pickup here. Again, we just want to generate as much tourism as possible. Also, if I can finish this monument, it'll also help with the loyalty pressure in here. Fortunately, I can't get this musketman out of here, so it's likely that he's dead from all these guys over here. And I really need the Japanese to get this goddamn great general out of the way, because it's just causing me massive issues right now. There we go, connected our very first city with a railroad. Brilliant, even if it is a bit of a hodgepodge railroad. Right, drop down another Paradisa here. Go ahead and delete that pin. And soon we'll be able to place a couple of these seaside resorts. Actually, it might even be a good idea. I think I had an archaeologist heading up this way. It might be a good idea to get rid of these ones first so I can start placing stuff there. All right, looks like the Netherlands has been the target of a city-state quest. I'm not sure who they're trying to liberate there. Also just finished my very first neighborhood, getting me a little bit of Eris score. So what is this emergency? Did the emergency fail? Am I nuts? Yeah, the city-state emergency passed. Maybe it doesn't appear until next turn. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a promotion on this guy. I'm going to take the Tortoise Promotion because he's getting hit by a lot of ranged attacks. Let's see if we can't clear out a few of these guys here. Can I get to this tile and still shoot? I think I can, which will allow me to get that kill there. And can I get to this tile and still shoot? I can. Excellent. Then we can kill this guy. I want to get you moved up to here, and I'm going to take the Tortoise Promotion on you, so you're more likely to survive. We'll get our 2 bombards on the road ready to move up as well. We've got a 3rd bombard on the wings as well. So we should be in position now to push on Corinth next turn with a whole bunch of field cannons. We've got a couple of melee blocker units in reserve. Oh, excellent. So by skipping the great engineer that I wanted to skip, the Ada Lovelace, I'm able to pick up Gustav Eiffel, who's going to make my life a lot easier when it comes to finishing off more of the wonders like the Eiffel Tower, the Bolshoi Theatre, and all that sort of stuff that I would like to pick up. Renaissance walls, excellent. I'm building Renaissance walls in an awful lot of cities. It is a bit unfortunate that I had to pull out that Renaissance wall science card now that I'm starting to finish a bunch of them. It is what it is, not much I can do about it. Another little Paradisa over here for Ray. Time to rebuild this Paradisa that got destroyed in some sort of storm, I believe. Alright, we'll pick up another artifact. Let's go ahead and take another Hojo artifact. And then over here, I'll see if I can maybe grab a Barbarian artifact. Trying to just get a mixture of different artifacts as it stands. I'll maybe have a look at filling these out once I have a couple more of these guys filled out as well. Currently have, I believe, 4 themed museums. I misspoke last episode and said it was 3. But I've got 4 themed museums. I've got another couple of museums. I should have, in theory, 4 archaeologists on the field because I have 4 archaeological museums finished. Let's take a moment here and check the unit list. Yeah, I only have 4 archaeologists out, but I should actually have 6 because 2 of these archaeological museums aren't full. So clearly 2 of my cities are missing archaeologists. Looks like Knossos was one of them. Apparently all the great works that could have been here were teleported out. I'm going to take a moment here to grab myself an archaeologist in Knossos. And it looks like Zranka is the other city. I'm going to put a pin here to remind myself with the Ark name. Right, so let's start moving up our units to begin the war in earnest. Now, I don't think I can move some of these units up safely. I don't think there's a road connecting here. And I need to start killing some of these side units as well. Unfortunately, I think this is a hill, so I might have to step forward to be able to shoot over these, because for some reason I can't shoot this guy with this guy, which doesn't make any sense because this is flatland and this is flatland, so surely I should be able to shoot. I guess I just have to move forward and take this shot like this. I think that's going to open up an opportunity for me to have to move forward. Now this guy can shoot it. That's very weird. That's very weird. That's very weird. I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that. Anyway, let's pick up some more of these artifacts here. We got our very first shipwreck, which is going to give us a little bit more era score. Kind of redundant to get extra era score at this point because we've kind of already got a golden age well and truly on the way. Right, let's go ahead and get an archaeologist in Zranka. I guess I didn't really need that pin to remind me because I remembered basically immediately. And then over here in Ispahan, we'll get more Renaissance walls. Similar sort of stuff over here in Sahir Equimus. Get some more Renaissance walls. Well, looks like we have an option to get a Gorgo artifact, which I think is the very first Gorgo artifact that I've managed to nab. Right, let's park down a Paradisa over here in Gordian as well. Starting to get an awful lot of those to fill in, and it's starting to look great. Let's go ahead and take a moment to check the appeal of my empire. You can see it's starting to look a lot more green than it used to. Still a lot of work to do in over here, although I am getting builders out in Hagmatana that'll help with that. And I've got a lot of work to do in Agai and Sparta, because eventually I would like to fill all of this coastline with seaside resorts, if at all possible. Pull up another artifact here. I'll take an Alexander artifact. I guess more of them is totally fine. Unfortunately, one of my units that was pretty highly upgraded just got blasted to death. Is there a way to check the history of that? Yeah, I'm not sure what killed him there, but he got shot in one hit and died instantly, which is a bit disconcerting. Anyway, let's take the garrison promotion on this guy and then move the bombards up as well. Take a shot at this guy, do a bit of damage to him. Far from ideal, the current war, but I just need to get Gorgo's culture per turn down to something a bit more reasonable. Pick up another great writer. I'm pretty happy about that. Let's go ahead and shift those great works of writing around out of the capital. Just trying to move them out of the capital so I don't have to move my great writers very far. Renaissance walls finished in Tarsus. I could have sworn I'd already built a workshop and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and get to work on it in any way. I would like to get a neighborhood at some point, but workshop first. Renaissance walls in Agai. I still have no idea how to pronounce that city's name. We'll plop down a Paradisa down here as well in this city. Ray is starting to look very well developed. Needs quite a bit of work though to get some of these things finished, but not too long and the city will be looking great. Let's keep an eye out for any Netherlands holy units. Oh, there's one over here that we'll be able to pillage. Excavate another artifact here. I'll take a barbarian one this time. Trying to figure out where exactly I would like to put the holy site over here to get a nice lattice of Paradisas. Now all of these tiles could potentially, since they're flatland, be seaside resorts. I don't know if this one counts because I think it has to be coast. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it can't be placed here, but I'm thinking if I put a holy site here, I could put a lattice of Pyrodizas around this city and they would be pretty damn valuable. So let's do a Pyrodiza right there. Another one right here. And another one right here. And then if I put a holy site right in the center of all this, that'll look very nice in the end. So then we're going to go ahead and use the builder to start cleaning all this stuff up with regards to that goal. 4 turns until the Cristo Redentor is done. I could go ahead and use Filippo Brunelleschi, but I don't think it's necessary. In fact, at this point, it might be worth it to teleport him over to Susa and get value out of him that way. Although at this point, Susa's going to finish the Hermitage in 6 turns anyway, so maybe it's not even worth doing. Right, let's go ahead and pop down another Pyrodiza. Oh, you can't put Pyrodizas down on floodplains. Right. I wonder if you can put seaside resorts down on these as well. That's going to be a question that needs to be answered. Let's take another Gorgo artifact because I don't have a whole lot of them. A Renaissance doubloon. Alright, let's keep doing the listening post because it's a pretty important one to get me the extra combat strength I need to be able to push through here. I'm very worried about just the sheer amount of damage they're pumping out here, but I do have a couple of these bombards in position to hit Corinth. I might have to start building another army. This might not have been enough of an army to deal with this whole shenanigans that's going on over here. Right, we'll pick up another artifact over here, and this one will be... I'll take a Barbarian Artifact. Don't have enough of those. And I suppose I'll run down here and see if I can nab one of these ones as well. Okay, I will renew my friendship with the Congo. I completely forgot to renew that and get an alliance with them. Jesus, something is absolutely hammering me over here. Literally one-shotting my units. Is this like a really defenseless tile? Maybe I should avoid standing here because that's twice now that I've stood a unit on this tile and it died from 100 to 0 health. Anyway, let's take the pillage on this field cannon and start hammering the city. I'm going to open it up with my bombards hitting the city. Jesus Christ, I'm not even doing that much damage to it. I thought I would be doing a lot more. 88 combat strength. Where is it getting all that combat strength from? Well, the best thing to do is to just chip away at it as best as I can. Might be worth my while to try to kill this unit to prevent the amount of damage I'm taking, because something is doing crazy amounts of damage to me. Yeah, I'm going to avoid standing on that tile again. Let's go ahead and merge these bombards together, so now I have a full army. They'll maybe do a bit more damage, and we'll park a unit back in this city. I might have to start purchasing more units. It's kind of scary, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Right, let's go ahead and pick up a harbour in back 3, and we'll plug in economic union now that we've unlocked it. That's going to mean that commercial hubs and harbours... Oh wait, sorry, that's not the one I wanted. I want 5-year plan, which is going to give me industrial zone and campus adjacency bonuses. Let's see if we can't sneak in here and grab this under the nose of the Greeks. Chop another forest here. That'll instantly finish the holy site, and I think it's a good idea to repair the theatre square. Oh, here comes the Netherlands. Here comes that unit that I want to pillage. Another great work of writing from Jane Austen. And we'll plop down a nice Paradisa up here as well. Starting to really fill out my empire, and it's looking very mature in terms of its, development. Which means, once we have flight, and we're only 5 turns away from it, our tourism should jump significantly. We're already up to 23 science per turn, which is a decent amount for culture. We're currently up to 13 tourists, which is great considering only an episode ago we had practically 0, right? If I'm recalling correctly. Let's go ahead and excavate an artifact here, and it'll be an artifact from Cyrus. Right, I'm going to do a little bit of a harvest over here to get that factory a little bit quicker, and then we'll switch the production back here to the medieval walls. And then I'll pop in here with this engineer to build another railroad. There's not really much point to building a railroad, other than it just kind of makes things work a bit better. Oh, I ran out of friendship with Japan, who has seemingly exited the friendship area, so let's go ahead and make friends with him again. We got a nice little alliance back with Japan, which means we should be able to move our archaeologists freely within his domain again. I'm losing units every single turn. This is a very rough war. I wasn't expecting this hard of a resistance from the AI. But I'm going to have to just keep pressing as hard as I can. If I can get rid of some of these units around here, maybe pillaging would be a good move as well. Really not sure what I should do. I guess I'm just going to hammer the city and hope that I can rip down the walls fast enough for it to make a difference. I'm worried about this field cannon getting killed by all the damage that's around here, so I'm going to step him back to give him an opportunity to heal. Alright, we're going to pick up another great artist. Might be worth thinking about getting a great art museum, but for now, we'll be hanging out near the Hermitage. Right, Right, the capital is basically fully developed. The only thing it's missing is potentially a canal, which I had planned to put a canal here, but for some reason it won't let me put a canal here. I think it's because there's an antiquity site here. Might also be a good idea to work... Oh, I could put the Panama Canal over here. That's interesting now. I'd love to get to work on something like Broadway. That would be a huge amount of culture, as well as a lot of great work slots. Sydney Opera House, Statue of Liberty. I want to build as many wonders as I can now that this city is essentially done, although I could do a bit of repairs and stuff like that to pick up a bit of culture. But I think it's far more useful to work on these things. Now, I don't think that the Statue of Liberty is pretty important. I would much rather build the Sydney Opera House or Broadway. And I think out of the two wonders, Broadway is better. So let's have a little search on the map to see if anyone else is building it. Right, nobody is building Broadway as it stands. Let's have a look at the Opera House. And nobody is building the Opera House. So I'm going to opt to build Broadway because that one is unlocked sooner. I'm going to place it on this Paradisa, which does kind of suck that we lose out on a Paradisa. But it's not the end of the world because I can eventually put a Paradisa here. And that'll kind of make up for it. I think I'm going to try to purchase a field cannon in here to combine together to turn some of these into armies because... it's a little bit scary how easily my units are dying here. Anyway, it's a good opportunity to pick up another artifact as well over here. I'll take another Gorgo artifact. I'm not really keeping count of which one I'm taking when. I'm just kind of grabbing them as they come. I'll pick up another one over here. And this one will be a... oh, I'll take a Jerusalem artifact. Repair the granary in Knossos and go ahead and just start cleaning up some of this stuff like putting Paradisas down. Another Paradisa over here as well. Let's go ahead and delete that pin. Starting to look very developed. Still have quite a bit of work, but you know, it's starting to come together, which I'm very happy with. Up to 356 tourism per turn. Where did that religious unit go? Oh no, I think Arabia pillaged it. That's unfortunate. I was really hoping that it would be me who got it. But yeah, it looks like Arabia stole that pillage on me. Not the end of the world, but I would have liked it. Been sitting on this governor upgrade for a while. I should have taken the curator promotion a while ago because that would have been a nice little boost to my tourism in my capital. Not a huge amount, mind you, but a nice little boost all the same. Things are starting to get very dicey here. Let's go ahead and combine these units together. Pull this bombard back because even if I pillage, I'm pretty sure he'll die. I have a couple of units in positions able to do a little bit about this, but it's very, very dicey at the moment. I'm just going to try and get a little bit of damage on the city. Every chunk of health I can take out of these walls makes my life easier. I have it down now to the level where it's at the sort of medieval wall amount of health on the fortifications, but it's still like a crazy amount of fortification health that I have to punch through. Definitely tempted to maybe see if I can get my hands on some biplanes or bombers or something like that, just to help take out these cities. Another Renaissance wall over here in Tushpa will do the trick. Let's go ahead and get this archaeological museum repaired for the extra little bit of culture. And some Renaissance walls up here in Pushkalavati. Right, let's park down a neighborhood in Tarsus, because I don't want to waste... If I chop the workshop here, I'll waste a good 50 of the production. Whereas if I chop and have some of it go into the neighborhood instead, there'll be none of that chop wasted. Right, let's go ahead and take a thingy from Coupe. And we'll keep building the nice little railroad over here in Gordy and start to make some good progress. Another little artifact up here, hopefully from... I was hoping for maybe another one of the city-states. I'll take a Hojo artifact. Right, we'll do a heal up, or not a heal up, a plan. I was trying to think about healing up my units up over in Greece, but we'll put another plantation down here, which will give us access to another olive. Jesus Christ, the amount of shots that are going off in this war. I think I just don't have enough units to really effectively fight this. So unfortunately, I'm actually going to have to fall back a little bit while I wait for these units to not only heal themselves, but potentially for me to be able to get more units up over here. I was really hoping that like Japan or someone would actually be useful here, but they basically have no army on the front line at all. I'm not seeing a single Japanese unit in the locality, and Arabia is just like, God knows what they're up to. I forgot to get my alliance renewed with the Congos. Let's go ahead and make sure that we do that. There we go. Nice little alliance with them. Although I might want to stop having a alliance with the Congo, because once it gets to level 3, they'll get 10% of my culture. Arabia, can I get you to declare war? You know what I might do? I might just peace out Greece and then see if I can build up an army during the peace. If I can steal a bit of their cash, it would be swell as well. Looks like they don't want to give me even a penny. Yeah, not a penny, but they will give me the cities for peace. So I'll take a moment to peace out with them. Then when, hopefully before this era is over, I'll be able to declare a Golden Age war, which will mean I have a much easier time going to war with them. In fact, I'm going to denounce them right now. And now that I've denounced them, in 10 turns, I'll be able to declare a Golden Age war, which will have a lot less repercussions. And in that meantime, I can use all of my gold to build up my army up here. And maybe I could get an upgrade in the meantime. Is there a really achievable upgrade in that 10 turns that I could get that would significantly increase the power of my army? The only one I can think of is artillery, which is still an awful lot of turns away. So I think my best move is to just keep going for flight and maybe see if I can get a biplane or two or something, anything in the meantime. Or just maybe trade away a bunch of money or trade for a bunch of money to be able to purchase more units up here in Knossos. Looks like Japan only has 9 gold per turn, which makes me a bit sad, but maybe I'll be able to get a bit more cash off someone else. Get 120 gold per turn off the Congo, which is fine by me. We do have suffrage now, so it's time to plug in democracy. Now that democracy is plugged in, I feel like a New Deal is a great card to plug in. Pretty much all the cards I want are plugged in actually here, with the exception of Vissel Banking, although that could get upgraded, I believe. Oh, sorry, no, it's no longer a card. It's intrinsic to the government now that you get extra production for trading with people. The 15% discount on purchases with gold is going to be handy too. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep everything the way it is for now. Let's also pick up Capitalism so we can build shopping malls, and we'll be heading towards Cold War and some of these later game civics as well. Renaissance walls have been picked up in Ray. About time that I got to work on the theatre square, although I do want to get the Holy Site online as well. I can actually delete that pin now at long last. Pop down a Paradisa down here in Tarsus, which is exactly what we want to do. Tristo Redentor is finished, which means we get 100% tourism from seaside resorts and a bunch of other nice benefits, like religious tourism not being diminished. More importantly now, once we get the Eiffel Tower, that's going to combine together very nicely to give us very, very strong seaside resorts. We're up to about 400 tourism per turn. And over here in this city, I could be building a whole bunch of this stuff, but I would really, really, really like to get the Taj Mahal. In fact, I could even make an argument for maybe getting an encampment and building some units. But I'm going to get to work on the Taj Mahal because that's going to help me not only generate tourism, but also just generally get me more era score. Now, flight is finished, so our tourism has jumped. If we go into the tourism lens, you can see all these wonderful Paradisas are now starting to generate me a bit of tourism. Not much tourism, mind you, but it is some tourism, which is important because just any amount of tourism that we can get our hands on are going to help us win the game. I really, really, really need to kill Gorgo, or at the very least, completely cripple her culture gain. Despite all the damage that I did to her in the war, she's managed to regain the majority of her culture back. Let's go ahead and take an artifact from Gorgo. Now that we have flight, there's an argument to be made for going for radio. It doesn't really help me win a war though, that's the problem. Well, unless I can get aluminum and go for advanced flight, I could really use an aerodrome, and I'm not really sure where I want to put one. I'd have to give up a Paradisa for one, but I think it's worth it to be able to get air units to fight this war potentially if we hit aluminum. Bit of a dilemma here, actually. We had a better chance of holding on to Knossos when we weren't at war, which is a bit of a mad concept to me, considering we're still running all the loyalty stuff, but simply down to the fact that Persia has some benefits from loyalty while you have a garrisoned unit. It was actually better for me, loyalty-wise, to stay at war here, which is a bit mental. The other problem is the happiness in here is a bit of a problem. I'm not really sure how I would fix that. There's not really a way to prioritize the city to get amenities, which would be nice if I could do that because that would solve that problem for me. I guess I'm just going to have to keep my army in the local area. Although my army's going to get kicked out of the territory, which again is also dumb because like your army just gets teleported away and you have no real recourse. Right, I don't need to renew another one of these missions. What I can do in the meantime is siphon a bit of cash from them to be able to purchase a thing. And then once our sort of piece is up, we'll be able to go ahead and do the spy thingy again. Let's go ahead and expend another railroad charge over here. I'm not really sure what to do next in this city. Would be nice to get a neighborhood to allow this city to grow a bit more. And you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a neighborhood in here. I would like to build a harbor on the holy site, but this holy site isn't particularly super useful. It's more of a sort of late game little bit of boost to my culture. Now, I am really, really close. Why am I losing this city? That doesn't make any sense at all. Well, that doesn't make any sense at all because it's not following my religion. Well, I was going to go ahead and purchase myself a naturalist up here, which I think I still will do, but it might be a good idea to get myself another inquisitor to send down there and maybe sort out the religion problem down the south because that's starting to have a loyalty impact now. I think part of the problem is I actually just ran out of friendship with Arabia. Let's go ahead and renew our military alliance. I need to have him be at war with Gorgo. That's actually a critical part of this thing too. So I'll be hopefully getting him to declare the war as well. Archaeologist is finished over here in Zaranka. I may as well go ahead and steal this great artifact thingy. And it is a plate mail from Movember in the medieval era. Very nice. Now we have a few options for what we could do in this city. For example, I could get a neighborhood. And that would help this city grow. I could get the harbour. I think I'm going to go for the neighbourhood again. Eventually that will be a better neighbourhood, but the housing is really nice, as well as the option to build shopping malls once the time comes. Right, over here in Halicarnassus, just going to get to work on an amphitheatre as per usual. And up here in Athens, I'm going to just keep building the walls. Just want to get walls up for tourism. We're up to 500 tourism per turn now. Starting to look very, very nice. Organized by gold. Looks like a trade route here with Coupe is worth 6 food, 6 production, 12 gold, 1 culture, and 2 faith. That is a fantastic little trade route. Not the least because it's going to help the city grow, but it's just generally a really good trade route. I see you, little fella. I want to pillage you. Come on into my land, please. Thank you. Really have no idea what I can do to help the loyalty in this city. There's not really anything I can do. Alright, Movember's upset. I'm actually going to tell him I won't steal any more of his artifacts because I don't plan to steal any more of his artifacts, so there's no point really. Right, there is the Hermitage. We've finished it, and that is a nice spot to park a few great works. It's got room for 4 great works. Now, important thing to do with great works of art is make sure that all of your great works in a particular building are either of different types or from different artists, because remember, great works of art take a penalty if they're not from different artists. Right, let's take a step back here to pick up opera and ballet. Is there anything along these lines that I also want to pick up? I'm not seeing anything, mainly just opera and ballet. There might be a couple of cards, like for example, this one in here, the simultaneum for extra faith, but I think mainly I'm just going to pick up opera and ballet and then head towards the sort of end game stuff like environmentalism, like social media, which gives you 50% tourism output to civilizations that you have a trade route with. Right, since we finished the Hermitage in here, we would like to get a neighborhood at some point, and probably the best spot to put it is on this defunct tile that isn't really useful for anything else, although there is an argument to be made putting it here because it would get +5 housing, which is, I guess, pretty nice. But I don't need that neighborhood right away, and I can potentially get to work on something else, like an aerodrome, for example, which would give you another avenue to build a thing. On the other hand, it would be quite nice to start building a few water parks, because I am missing out on an awful lot of amenities. So let's go ahead and focus on that. Park a water park right here. That'll boost the 2 seaside resorts that I plan to put there at a later date. Right, let's make sure that we own all these tiles for the Pantanal and plug in the Naturalist right there. We've +4 era score for the very first natural park. Bit of a redundant thing, again, because we have like 200 era score, but it's another source of tourism, and I'll never turn my nose up at a source of tourism. Right, I think the next big thing is to get to work on professional sports, to be able to play some of these ski resorts. I don't have a huge amount of mountains in my empire, but I do have quite a few that could be seaside resortable, or not, ski resortable. In fact, I'm almost half tempted to settle a city in and around here, just purely to be able to get a few more seaside resorts, which would be another great source of tourism. Now, again, like I said, I don't have a huge amount of these mountains around, but there's enough of them to justify prioritizing picking up the ski resorts. Right, over here in back 3, we have finished the harbour. Let's go ahead and get the lighthouse for the extra trade route. We are a bit light on trade routes this late into the game, and we're going to want more of them. I'm going to take a moment here in Hagmatana to start building a hangar. That'll make it so that any air units that I build from here will be a little bit better. Oh, I forgot to delete this pin, and we'll be placing a theatre square here eventually. Unfortunately, this city is going to flip independent, and there's nothing I can really do about it. I've got all the loyalty cards I can possibly have plugged in, but it's just not enough. Anyway, like I said, it's best to spread out your great work so that you minimize how much overlap you have, and now we're up to 2 nice great works, although this one is technically religious, which means it's inherently lower value than any other ones that I would create, just because, although I actually have Cristo Redentor, so that's no longer true, so it doesn't really matter if it's a religious great work or not. Right, so the city has rebelled, and the problem here is if I retake it, it's just going to rebel faster and faster each time, but I think the best move is to hammer the city with as much stuff as I've got, in the hopes of retaking it. Let's do a little bit of damage to this guy as well. I need to trim down the health of these riflemen. I'll be able to take it next turn, which is fine, but ideally, this just wouldn't have went independent. Right, Tarsus over here has finished its neighborhood, which means it can continue to grow. It doesn't have any room to actually grow, is a bit of a problem. But we're going to work on the National History Museum, which is going to give me more room from great works of art and stuff like that. Renaissance walls in Gordian are a good thing to work on. We finished them over here in Sahir Equimus. So I think I would love to get this coal power plant online. It would provide a little bit more production in the area. So we'll go ahead and get that on the way. Although I would love to also build a theatre square if I could. You know, if I pop a theatre square right here, it'll be able to take advantage of these desert tiles and stuff like that. So I might just get to work on that, because I do need more archaeologists at this point. I'm starting to fill out the basically every archaeological museum. Actually, speaking of which, I haven't gone through and seen if I could theme anything for a bit. Right, I found a 3 set of classical artifacts, which means I think I'm up to 5 themed museums. Although this one is saying it's themed for some reason, which makes no sense to me. Or wait, so that's just weird, to be honest. Maybe these were the slots that previously were themed and it just kind of like didn't update properly. I'm looking for another ancient artifact. I've got one from Cyrus and one from the Barbarians. So if I could find another ancient artifact, it would be very nice. Looks like I don't have any spare ancient artifacts, so we'll get to work on maybe something else. Maybe I could do an industrial or Renaissance. Yeah, I just don't have quite enough artifacts to theme these last 3 museums, but I do have room for more artifacts as time goes on, so I might be able to theme 1 or 2 more museums. Need to keep an eye out for the great scientist that I really want. I think it's called Mary Leakey, and if I go in here to the Civilopedia, I can show you that she gives you 300% normal tourism from your artifacts, so she's going to be really important for me to pick up, and you also get a bunch of science from her. That's why I have been saving basically all of my great scientist points throughout the entire game, and I'm pretty sure in most games she comes after Alfred Nobel, right? Yeah, she's an atomic era great scientist, which means she typically comes after the modern era, and I believe, I could be wrong about this, but typically Alfred Nobel is the very last modern era great scientist. I'll have to double check. I could be very wrong about that. Maybe he's the first one. It can be kind of random, but you know, usually I see a pattern, and I could be just wrong about it. All right, let's go ahead and harvest there. That'll take 4 turns off the Natural History Museum, and just for the purpose of showing off the mechanic where great works, if they're of the same type from the same artist, they're worth less. Oh wait, sorry, that's not actually true in Wonders. Right, I forgot about that. That's only true in art museums. Completely forgot about that. Whoops, I'll have to show you that another time. Extract another artifact. Let's go ahead and pick up an Alexander, and it's a classical era Alexander artifact. Is that good enough? Yeah, I'm 1 classical era artifact away from theming another museum. So definitely need to start picking up more of these tourism museums. I need to look around and see if there's anywhere I haven't actually built a theatre square. And this is definitely a candidate city. So once these Renaissance walls are finished, I'll be picking up a couple more slots for great works. Right, so Knossos, let's see if we can recapture it. In fact, it's probably a good idea to just farm a bit of experience off this city while we go. Now, we have plenty of cash in the bank. When can we declare war in Greece is the big question, because I'm going to want to time things for that. So we've got 4 turns. So if I capture this city this turn, I've got 3 turns where I can fill out a whole bunch of upgrades on my units, and then maybe kind of blitzkrieg down the Greeks, and hopefully start to make a dent in this, because they are just got so many units parked around and their cities are such high combat strength. However, the walls are already a little bit damaged, so I've got that going for my in my favor. I could liberate the city. Now that would be a treat. On the other hand, I could raise the city. I think I'm going to keep the city for now, and I've got 5 turns to build up my strength here before I push on the enemy. Water park done here in Susa. We shall get to work on the Ferris wheel because it provides a little bit of tourism, culture and amenities. More importantly, we're trying to get up to the aquarium, which will provide regional amenities. Factory done here in Sparta. I would love to get the coal power plant online. That'll give me a little bit more of the production side of things. I would love to purchase the cheeky archaeological museum in here and get an archaeologist straight away. But unfortunately, the reality is I just don't have that kind of money to throw around. Oh, there's a unit over here. Let me pillage you. Excellent. Thank you for the diplomatic favor. That'll fuel my empire in the form of selling it to other players. Right, this coal power plant is only worth +1 production, which means it's not really worth building. When it's +10 production, it pays itself off after 30 turns. So that starts to make a bit more sense. When it's like +6, it pays itself off after what is it, like 30, 10 turns would be 60, so 50 turns. Like that's 50, like 30 to 50 turns for something to pay itself off is pretty reasonable, whereas this one would take 300 turns to pay itself off, so there's like no universe in which this is a good move. So we'll just go ahead and grab the temple, and I suppose we'll create another great work here in our hermitage. We've got quite a few here. It's worth 16 tourism, not to forget that it's also worth a little bit of tourism by itself, so I'm actually getting 36, sorry, it is 20 tourism per turn from this. Like, that's not bad considering it's just basically a little wonder sitting there providing me a bit of tourism. I'm actually curious, what tile has provided me with the most tourism in my empire? Looks like it's actually a toss-up between this holy site and the theatre square. So you can see the holy site has actually generated quite a bit of tourism, 872, but it's just being squeaked out by this amphitheatre, this theatre square over here, which has generated about 1,000. We're up to 550 tourism per turn, which is a great boost in our tourism economy. We're now neck and neck with generated tourists in terms of for visiting tourists coming to me from other civilizations. So I'm going to call that the end of the episode. I love you all very much. I hope you guys are enjoying this series, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.